Hi everyone, this is the reflection video for lectures 7 and 8. So I got two of them combined here because I was sick and missed a recording one yesterday. We talk a bit about the exit quizzes from both lecture 7 and lecture 8. That's on September 8th and September 10th. And talk a little bit about some materials I posted for the exam preparation, which will bring our exams going to be a week from today, so that's going Wednesday, so that's going to be September 17th. And a couple of questions about the Sapling homework, so I'm going to talk about that too. All right, so this was our quiz from Wednesday, and the first question was, it looked like most people got this one right. First question was, what is the formula for iron chloride? Hopefully, if this is still working for me, iron, we will know, has, right, based on this Roman numeral 3, it's telling us that iron has a 3+ charge. And chloride, we know because of its position on the periodic table, that always has a -1 charge. And so when you put these together, right, remember this iron is our cation, chloride is our anion, we must have a neutral compound, and so that means we have 3 chlorides for every 1 iron. So now we have 3 negative charges, 3 positive charges, we're all good. Looks like about 75% of you guys got that one. So we're done with drawing here for a sec. I'll move down. Next one, this is one that I think the main issue here. I put a little, you had an option here, right? So we had iron sulfate, and so you have to figure out first. There's two things to figure out. One was the charge, and so everybody hopefully saw that there were 3 of these sulfates. Sulfites. So that meant that iron had a +3 charge on it. Right, and so that means that whatever iron you had to have that 3 charge on it. So that means this one is out. This one is out. Okay. And so the other question is sulfate versus sulfite, and that's probably where people got tripped up. So sulfate is SO4 2 minus, and sulfite is SO3 2 minus. And so this is ITE. ITE, the I ones always are the ones with less oxygens at the end, and this is ATE. And again, you know, it's an easy way to kind of keep them in your head that the ones with fewer oxygens are always ITE, ones with more are always ATE. This comes up with nitrate and nitrite as well, and so you might see that, something like that on the exam, so it's good to keep that straight. Final question. Again, most people got it right. So which of the following is a strong acid? And we see that, so this is hydroxide. Hydroxide is a base, so definitely not. These two, we don't really know if these are going to be strong or not, but if you just simply remember that list I gave you in class, this is phosphoric acid, and so that is our strong acid. Right, so those are not. These are both mildly basic. All right. So with that, I'm going to switch up here for a second and then talk about our exit quiz from today, which is Wednesday. See how people did on that. So today's exit quiz, we had a couple of questions. This first one here, it's a little, I think some people had some problems with these images, and I apologize that this sort of zoomed out on your phones or whatever. It's hard to see, easier to see on computers, I think. Excuse me. And so the question is, which of these are likely to exist? And so you have to remember how many bonds everything forms. So remember we said that carbon likes to form 4 bonds. Why is this doing that? Okay, hold on a second. Alright, try that again. Carbon forms 4 bonds, right? Our halogens form 1, but because carbon only has 3 here, that can't be right. Halogens, remember, form 1 bond, and these are both halogens, so that one could form. Again, halogens only form 1 bond. This halogen here, fluorine, has 4, so that's definitely wrong. And sulfur, remember, is right under oxygen. That could form 2 bonds, and so that means this is correct. I'm sorry about that. So this forms 2 bonds. So we have a situation where both B and D is correct, and so looks like you got that one. And most people, second most popular choice was D only, which is correct. Alright, sorry about this. I'm having some technical difficulties. It doesn't happen very often. So I'm just going to leave it there. Hopefully that seeing that first exit ticket was enough to clear it up for everybody. That was the one that most people had difficulties with. Alright, so I want to talk about a couple other things. Second was I posted the exam review materials. So if you go on to the Blackboard site, you look here, it's exam study materials. Here are what I have up so far. So I've got the learning objectives. Basically, I took all learning objectives from the class that we went through, made them into one giant list. Again, I said that so these learning objectives are things I'm going to be assessing on these exams. And so the questions I ask are meant to assess whether you can do these things. All right, and so this is a good guide for you to ask yourself as you prepare for this. And if there's anything that you feel uncomfortable with in particular, just sort of focus on that. I've also posted an old exam here. I said I'll post a key to that probably later this weekend, probably something like Sunday. I like to give people enough time to work on it without the key. It'll help them really get a better understanding of how well they know things. Recommended flashcard list here. So these are things that I'm going to expect you guys to know, information I'm not necessarily going to give you. You'll see here are the metric units I want you to know. Here's some relevant conversions. I'm not going to ask you to memorize a whole bunch of the other conversions like inches to centimeters and things like that. I will give you them, and so you will have to be able to use them, but you don't have to know them on the top of your head. The elements I mentioned in class, you're going to need to know some of these elements. Basically, you're going to get a periodic table that doesn't have the element names, and so you have to be able to use these, particularly when it comes to naming, when we're translating the names of ionic compounds. Polyatomic ions, these are the ones that I mentioned in class. I mentioned a couple other ones in class. I'm just going to have you focus on these ones. It's a slightly smaller list. These are the ones that are most biologically relevant. And then be able to recognize the acids and bases. These are strong acids and strong bases. Just recognize them by name. Okay. All right. The other thing I want to mention was I posted a bunch of these recommended problems at the end of the chapters. So you'll see basically there's a number of exercises at the end of chapters, and then there's a whole bunch of additional problems. I recommended you do these even ones because the answers are there. If in the back of the books, if there's any in particular that you're having a hard time with, it's a good thing to maybe ask me about, or we can maybe talk about it at office hour, or talk about it with a tutor or something like that. Okay, one last thing. I've had a couple people ask me about one particular question on the Sapling assignment. Sapling is usually pretty good about giving you guys training, but this one they have not, so I just wanted to let you know how to do it. So this was number 8, loose structures of atoms and ions. Alright, so this one wants you to basically put the electrons where they're supposed to go. And so what you need to do if you want to add an electron, you click on the particular atom, you open up this box, and you see there's a pair of electron, lone pair, and then a single electron. You can also add charges, but you don't need to add charges for this one. And so if I want to add a single one, I just add it once. Let's say I want to add it a couple times. See, now I have 2 single electrons. Let's say I want to add a lone pair. I can click on that and add them. Keep on adding them. Just add as many as you see fit. And when you're done, let's say you decide you don't want one, you can use this little eraser button and click on the lone pair or the single electron. Alright, so be careful not to click on the element symbol because it'll erase the whole thing, and then you got to put it all back up. But that's that. Okay, hopefully that helps. And don't forget that homework is due tonight, or sorry, tomorrow night, Thursday night at 11:55. Alright, see y'all on Friday.